Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. I know that you all got a busy schedule and we got a lot of work to do for October. I'm not going to waste any time. You know me well enough to know that I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to fill in the pieces. I'm going to fill in the gaps in everything that we've been learning over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks now in understanding how best to move forward, understanding what we've learned from Jim Pere regarding the grid, how to maximize these results. So what I'm going to do is pull up a presentation that follow along. I've got some notes, and I'm going to be going over all of this with you tonight, and I'm going to be doing it again at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight for those that may be getting home a little bit later than 7, East Coast, West Coast, and then, of course, Hawaii. If we need to do a third one, I'm happy to do that too. So what's the objective? The grid is designed, folks, to go deep. Okay, that's the goal. And my training today, this effort today, with a whole bunch of my leaders that have participated, Dr. Kathy Dudick, Enterprise, Amy Bidewolf, Enterprise, Laura Wana Lewis, Endeavor 3 out in Hawaii, what we have come up with, and of course, Rachel, what we have done is we have identified training that will offer step-by-step efforts, okay, that will assist us in going deep. But what we have to do first and foremost is we need to understand the steps that we've got to take prior to going deep, right? So what we have to do is very well documented, and I hope that you'll agree at the end of this. And also, folks, there's going to be a survey at the end of this. It's only like 4 or 5 questions. It's going to help me be better. And so I encourage you, please, to take an extra moment before you log out and complete that survey. So let's get going. All right, so why does the grid need support? It doesn't. In fact, it's perfect, as is science, when we're talking about going deep. So if we understand the grid is perfect, then what's there to talk about? How about we discuss acknowledging and respecting the yes by those entering our grid, right? Everyone entering our grids are business partners. Otherwise, they're not in the grid, right? Because they're consumers, right? Everyone entering the grid is going to be a business partner of ours that need the income, correct? That's why they're joining. So what if we took a little extra time on the front end to teach and encourage them to mimic us, duplicating our efforts? What might their respect levels of us be for having invested time and energy back into them? This is where we build loyalty while also building them a larger, earlier income that they need, which ultimately can offer us depth. So the science, we know what the science is, creating the list. How do we create the list? Right? Who is it that could benefit from the income opportunity? Who is it that can benefit from being a part of something? And who is it that can benefit from the product? Right? And then we're going to contact them with our new people. Okay, we're going to do it with them. We're going to do 3-way calls with them so they can see how this is done. And we're going to spend the time with them to invite to a website perhaps, or maybe it's a one-on-one or an in-home meeting, or to a webinar like we do on Wednesday nights, or to a hotel meeting. And that's where we'll show the new marketing plan, the new biz op. And then if needed, we'll follow up with them to get them enrolled. Okay, so what we're doing is nothing more than what we've always done. And that's the big message here, because I'm getting a lot of people contacting me and they're feeling just a little bit confused. There's no confusion here. What we have to do is we have to engage with these folks promptly, because we know that they'll have a far better chance of staying. The planning session is critical in showing them that we have a plan, we have a roadmap, and we're committed to their knowing it. It's really that simple. And by them participating in it, right, they become part of the culture. They become part of the community. Sharing information as to the industry facts, company growth will excite them, filling their belief buckets. We should make the introduction to that sponsorship tree as early as possible to represent that there is a team effort here and the camaraderie that we share. It is well experienced that if we help those entering our grids to feel assured that they are knowledgeable in what we offer and teach, their confidence level will surge. Can we agree to that? Is the audio any better? I'm sorry, Roseanne, I didn't see that message until now. Are we okay? Okay. Right? So if we invest in them, we get our investment back exponentially. The science is undisputable. That's why it's science. It's proven. So if we engage properly and teach them how to create a list without prejudgment, without reservation, committing it to paper, then we all have a great starting point. Who is it that you trust, respect, and like that may have been successful and has been financially impacted and simply wants better? Who needs work? Who simply needs supplemental income? Who are business owners struggling that may see a sensible fit within their current business model, right? And who is it that can benefit from the product? So what are we going to invite them to? Always have several events in front of you. We've talked about this. The more events you have in front of you, the more opportunity to get them to go to one. Because if you have one event in front of you and they can't make that event, now you're stumbling and you got to call them back. Okay, so have multiple events available. How will you share the marketing plan? Are you going to do it on a one-on-one, in-home meetings, hotel meetings? It's your call. I suggest that we don't change what it is that we've been doing for the last several years. And all we do is understand that the grid training, taking us deep, is going to be exceptional if we invest in those early on to have enough information to make the proper decisions for them. Because here's what it comes down to, is the better we are to them, the more comfortable they're going to be in engaging in this. I don't think anybody can dispute that. Would we agree with that as a general statement? For those that want this income, the more we invest in them, without enabling them now, right? We're not building their business for them, right? But the more we invest in them, the better that long-term result can be. So it's a unique time, folks, in network marketing. So many are coming out of financial necessity. If we are true to our promise of connecting with them and holding their hand briefly, through the process, through the planning session, launching their business and doing all the things that we know to do, they'll see the industry is not what they had heard, which is exactly what we've experienced. We have a very special place in this industry today as the ones that truly made people better, helping them to reinvent incomes and professions. And it all starts by our commitment. Wouldn't you do anything to have a Lauren Robin or Barbara Heilman on your team? Or Nancy Howard or Dr. Kathy Dudek? Wouldn't you just do anything to have that type of person on your team? Well, here's my rule. And this is why I invest in everybody. My rule is everybody is a Lauren Robin until they prove to me that they're not. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a better way to look at this? So we've got to build belief. Our success cycle manual, it's an impressive work of techniques. When we go over step 1 in the planning session out of the book, it shows a path as well as a thought of tools, right? Of confidence, a roadmap to success. It has that. It shows that in their mind that look what these guys have. Even if we don't agree to all of the content based inside the success cycle, I think everybody would agree that it's an incredible melting pot of success, depending on what path your partner wants to take. Explain transactional income to them as it relates to them and how residual income isn't new, and even their insurance agents have lived on it for decades. Let them see the power of the effort one time and what that might yield. Keep it exciting by sharing where our industry is heading, being far more credible than it's ever been before in the United States, and focus on our specific company exciting growth and new products with international markets coming, as our company has already indicated with Japan and Mexico in 2016. This offers hope and promise and opportunity. And when we hold on to that and we help them understand all of this, the belief bucket gets filled far faster. I'm a firm believer that confidence equals success. The more confident we have in a business partner, the more successful they might be, right? By us always under-promising and over-performing. And this is exactly what most people don't do. But if we invest early in their success by making them confident, the retention rates will climb, incomes will climb, attrition will fall. And it is that simple, and it is a duplication effort again. So by helping them get over that 500-pound phone, right? If they're in the grid, don't they need to know how to get over the fear of calling people so that they can experience the income? And today, it's still the biggest reason that most people fail is that they're just afraid of what the other person might say on the other line. Fear of rejection, fear of having been fired or lost their business and now doing this, fear of being judged harshly by those closest to us. And there's a great analogy. The waitress with the coffee pot goes table to table offering coffee. When the people say no, she doesn't go in the kitchen and melt down. She doesn't do that. What she does is she simply goes on to the next table and offers to somebody else. But a large percentage of time when new people come in, their fear is that their friends and family are going to judge them the harshest. And they will. And there's a psychological reason how to overcome why that is and how to overcome that. And it's very basic. If we help them understand that those closest to us will judge us potentially the harshest, it's not fair for us to accept their damnation of us when we're trying to help our families, right? We're trying to do the right thing. And more times than not, the psychology behind that is they're afraid you're going to prove that you found a way through it all and they just weren't willing to do it. It's really that simple, right? So how do we help them get over the fear? We help them overcome objections. If you defend somebody's objection by saying, no, our company's different. Oh, our products are different. You're done. You're dead. You've lost that person. What you have to do is put your left ankle over your right knee and listen to what they have to say. And when they're done with their objection, simply ask them. I've done an incredible amount of research. Would you like to know what I've learned? And then we use feel, felt, and found. I understand exactly how you feel. There was a time I felt the same way. But what I found, having done research, is that getting involved with a company that's rock solid with patented products before going global is extremely exciting, and I can make more money doing this than anything ever, right? So feel, felt, found, regardless of their objection. I don't want to be in sales. I understand how you feel. I once felt exactly the same way. But what I found is we're not selling at all. What we're doing is we're sharing by simply sharing with friends and family members exactly our experiences. Okay, so we can help people feel better about this easily by investing a little bit more time in them. So now we got to get them to engage and provide their list. Right? We've successfully shared a wealth of information with our new IREP. It's time to create that connection with their list. Right? Why is this so important? Because the better we are to them, the better they feel we'll be to their list. And we should be. If you don't have that moral commitment in you, then none of this is going to make sense. But to me, what I found is by working hand in hand with people, it may take a little bit longer to get the net result of that depth, but instead of coming back up to create the width, I'd rather create the width and the depth simultaneously, because there's no lost time in sponsoring somebody that wants to be involved and build this because they're in your grid, and offering them to come to meetings and be on webinars and conference calls that we're doing anyway. That's called leveraged time. Right? So once we help them get 3 or 4 people at minimum, right, they're now in a position to understand how we did it and participate in what we're doing before we go deep on them and then hope to come back up and alert them to what we have. So why is this equally as important? Because our moral obligation is to everybody that said yes to us and yes to them. Your new IREP will respect you so much for caring at this level. You'll create a far higher yield on their list by moving someone into that looking zone, by simply connecting with them, understanding a little bit more about them, doing a 3-way call and having your new partner introduce both of you. It creates and enforces the culture of simply caring enough for our partners and honoring them and their investment, their financial investment with a very special commodity being time. It's a huge asset of ours, and I get it. I understand why we want to move on as quickly as we possibly can. My theory is let's just take them all with us. So now getting prospects into the looking zone by simply asking a couple of questions, because some may not be looking, right? And what if we could help them into the looking zone with a little finesse? What if we were able to find out a little bit more information about each and every single one of the people on the list that would cause us a connection opportunity that might help them stay on the phone a little bit longer to be able to take a look at something or hear just a little bit more? And I like to do it by asking questions. So if they're not looking, what do we do then, right? Do we simply hang up? I don't think so. I think we start off with a couple of questions. So Bill, what do you do for a living? How long have you worked in that field? What do you like or dislike the most about that? If money wasn't an issue, what would you rather be doing? If I could show you over time without interrupting your current job or position how to reach that financial goal, would you be interested in hearing more? Right? Our company is paying us to put together a consumer base here locally. And for those of us like Kathy and I that want to build a marketing team more globally, they're paying us more generously. Kathy thinks the world of you and expressed you'd be someone serious to talk with. And I'm not sure if you're interested or even if you qualify, but we'd love to share more information. And can you move your schedule around to join us? How about understanding so many of us have been beaten up financially? I've decided to no longer wait for things to get better on their own as my family has paid a large enough price. Do you see things getting better soon? Right, so we can help those that are outside the looking zone into the looking zone by having a few questions in front of us. So now, everyone is not in the grid, and we know this. The only ones that go into the grid are business builders. Here's my contention. My contention is we help them get at least 4 on their front line, teaching them everything along the way, including them in everything, helping them through the planning session, getting them to understand the benefit of overcoming objections, everything that we've always done, and letting them know that we're here to protect their business before they even have one. We need to teach the tools necessary for them to be able to expand their front lines after this point in time by having them mimic our actions. Right? That the cycle of duplication will exist. They'll be able to build a little bit more with as we continue to educate them on depth. The more in their front line, the more PGV, right? So our job should be to get them 4 people personally sponsored, because now they get the one-time $100 IREP Elite bonus as a venture 3. So when we do 3 by itself, that's fantastic. But if we go 1 more, check this out. Based upon no fast start packages, okay, only 140 enrollment and $40 to be an IREP into the grid. Based upon that, they would have made with 3 people $63. Okay, 15% is now $21, and they would make that on 3. The 4th one is another 21 plus $100. So now they've made $121 over the 63 for 1 more effort. Okay, and of course they've secured their product for free. So I've concluded mathematically that if I've sponsored this person and I help them get 4, they've achieved the rank of Venture 3 IREP Elite. They've made 100, and I've made another 100. Right, in a matching bonus for helping them get to Venture 3 as their sponsor. Right, so if we're going to help them and put all the effort in to getting 3, doesn't it make financial sense to go a little bit more to make that 4th person? Of course it does. But here's the agreement that we need from them. We build 1, they build 2 in concert with us. Right, but what if they don't? As they may simply need more coaching and support in understanding the basics we've covered today that build their confidence in their belief bucket. Can you not see a better result if we spend a little bit more time with them on the front end and take them with us, not holding their hand, but just having them participate in all the calls, webinars, meetings going forward, so that that cycle of duplication does exist? Okay, because a large part of my concern is that running a 1 leg deep doesn't get us check match, and it doesn't get us team bonuses. And if we're banking on coming back up and educating them, right, and to looking and seeing what's happened, that's certainly going to work. But my goal is to take it from the beginning, give them the most excitement they could possibly get early on, and have them share that with 4 or 5 of their friends, and so on and so on. And here's why I want to do that. Because if we're morally connected, the enhanced earnings are crazy. Because if the person at the top, being that blue person, has effectively trained the green person, which I'm running, actually I'm running the green deep, the red person and the gray person to the left side, those people are now entering into a cycle of duplication, right? The blue people are ones that he hasn't yet, or she hasn't yet trained effectively, or they haven't engaged yet. So my goal is to help everybody have the tools necessary early on to be able to experience the depth while also creating the width, which will help them get to Endeavor 1, right? You need 4 legs for Endeavor 1 anyway, right? And I want check match on somebody that is rank advancing. And here's the bottom line. The better we are at driving their confidence, the better their list will be. If I drive a relationship, somebody I sponsor, and they give me a list, and I know them, and they give me a list, and I start calling, and I'm successful in getting somebody to look at a website or come to a meeting, I don't necessarily have the relationship with that person. So I'm not confident that the list I'm going to get is going to be stellar. And that's what we want, right? So the better we are at driving their confidence, the better their list will be. The better their list, the better their income. The better their income, the better our depth. Okay, and that is to me, what I'm hopeful that you all can agree that investing, and I'm not saying stick around for 10, 12 weeks with anybody. All I'm saying is get them to the planning session promptly. Try to have multiple people at one planning session, because that will work. It leverages time. Teaching everybody on the same sheet of music, and doing this in a way that promotes them having confidence by protecting their business before they have one, because they're coming in with a credit card. And God help us, we take their credit card, they deserve our best. And that's my opinion. Sticking with it. And thank you all for being here.